G'day guys, I'm Rick Blackshaw. I work for the Gippsland Agricultural Group. We're a research farm facility just based out of Bensdale, and we're here down in Gifford today to do a soil core. So as cockies we tend to normally just live in the top 4 inches of the soil, but this is an idea to give us what's underneath, to see what we can use, what we can utilise, have a look at the visual barriers, or to give us an idea of what is complementary further down that we may be able to use to our advantage. As cockies we don't really necessarily want to be reading a heap of paperwork, but we take a soil core and we put it out and we have a bit of a look, and it works out pretty well because we can do a pH test on different levels all the way down to see whether there's anything advantageous there. And the good thing is we've been taking different levels of the core samples and taking them and testing them, and we're seeing that if there's any nutrients locked up that we can actually utilise, or if there's any inhibitions that we don't want to touch, like sort of a bit of a heavy metal burden that we want to stay well away from. It's giving us an idea of what we can play with and what we actually can't. But the soil is the house of where we're living as cockies, and whatever we do as cropping or pasture, we've certainly got to utilise it to the best of our ability, and I think this just opens a few doors to give us an idea of, is there more we can play with or is there not? With the actual soil corer, what we do, we push a 29mm ram into the ground to 1 metre of depth. We then take that out and we extract it and we put it on the bench, and what we actually then, we take it out of the actual soil corer, and it gives us a visual of what's actually down there for the entire metre of soil. So it's really interesting. We can see bands of rock or different levels of where the topsoil ends and where the clay starts. Also gives us an idea of how tight our ground is. And one of the really good things is when we actually bring it out, we look for the actual roots of the plant or the crop that the paddock that we've been in. And some of the crops that we've been in have been very, very beneficial, where we've seen roots down to 60 centimetres plus. And that gives you an idea of, if the roots can play down that far, then the soil is certainly pretty hospitable. But we've also seen levels where roots have gone down and hit something, and sometimes it's a level of heavy metal or something restrictive, and the roots have seemed to have stoloned out. So it gives us an idea of how the plant is actually interacting with the soil, and the further these roots go down, the better it is for actually us cockies to say, well, you know what, this ground is actually in our favour. Normally, us as cockies, we tend to live in the top 4 inches of the soil with our soil testing, and we send that away, and that tells us our nutrient levels, our pH, and everything that you actually normally need. But with the soil core, it gives us something that we can actually look at to say, is there something down a little bit deeper than that we can actually use to our benefit? And one of the things is, if we haven't got the soil core available, even just as we go out and we dig a few post holes, at least probably take the time to have a look and see whether there's actually anything that we think as cockies that is beneficial that we can actually use, because every little bit of advantage that we can take on the land, it certainly is beneficial, and we want to take all of those little wins, because at the end of the day, the wins, they can all add up and we can kick some real goals with that. All right folks, so I hope you've taken something out of this. As we dig a few holes around the farm and we have a little bit of a look, let's be really, really visual. Let's have a good look. Let's take things to our advantage. And I hope it's been beneficial, and I hope the season treats you guys well. All the best.